he rose, Lucca had finally found a way to heal himself, which happened deep in the bowels of an abandoned, potentially necromancer's crypt, or keep, I should say. A strange band of energy that arcs from the bottom to the ceiling of this circular room, probably the basement of the Gauntlight, going by the architecture and your survival instincts here. And not just the light is weird about this room, which apparently is pure negative energy and currently replenishing Lucca's strained unlife force, but also the giant husk of a purplish worm that is slumped around that ribbon, forming a crescent of shriveled and tattered purple flesh.
That's what it is.
You might also notice that I got a new module, so Souma and Birke are occupying the same square, and so now they are neatly gathered.
Totally.
So Ottardo, if you want to move into that square, you see that it actually does all of the...
I think you can unpause
Oh,
us.
yep. It does all of the movement.
I will have to see it later because
Itself.
Frozen for a moment.
Around the worm, then enter this weird fountain font of negative energy and let it wash over him, as the rest of you watched from the entrance door in mild horror and confusion.
Could we tell, like, how far the necrotic energy extends? Is it only in that particular center?
It is a very visible band of energy, and I mean, Lucca definitely didn't seem like he was affected by it as he was approaching it, and really just that last step as he stepped into that pale blue coil, that's when he seemed energized and seemed to be affected by it.
Okay.
And you also see, just as a reminder, where the light touches the stone above and below, it kind of like the stone itself seems to look like it's suffering from an infection almost, and the light sees and writhes, and it's definitely some necromantic energy, as you put it. Yeah, that's a good impression.
Ottardo is going to ask, do you think that killed this? And he points at the husk of the creature.
Who knows?
But we're not really following, are we? That's insane.
Ottardo's already halfway through the room.
Ottardo!
Hey.
There's another door on the other side. Maybe we can go through.
Yeah, but what about Lucca?
Lucca, how are you feeling there? Like,
Lucca has been kind of standing motionless in the middle of this coil, his arms maybe like slightly outstretched. And it's only when Souma addresses him that he kind of startles ever so slightly. Says, I cannot remember the last time when I felt warm.
I see.
Lucca, why don't you slowly come back to us?
He kind of looks up at this energy that's arcing between the ceiling and the floor, and he and see that he seems almost reluctant, but eventually
One
he
step at a time.
steps away.
Come on.
All right.
Are you okay? How are you feeling?
I feel well.
I try to see if there's anything off about Lucca, which is impossible because, he's Lucca. How would I even tell?
Yeah.
Your bones look extra white.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, his bones actually kind of have like a brownish, almost like a charred look to them. The few glances that you've gotten of him underneath the mask and the cloak, but he nods. His mask bobs a little as he says, "Yes, no, I assure you, I am quite fine. Whatever that energy was, that negative energy, it is potent, and it has restored my bond to these
Old
Physical
bones.
remains."
Well, if you start hallucinating or getting murderous intent towards any of us, would you let us know beforehand?
Says, yes, for you, Birke.
I am suspiciously, but sympathetically, and then move on. Okay, I'm gonna open the door. Let's see what's other surprises behind here.
Before we go ahead, just remind me of your exploration activities. So how are we moving through this?
Ottardo is going with defend, which is the razor shield one.
Right. Meaning you'll probably also be up in front. Is that right? Or
Unless if Birke wants to go up front, he'll be closing the order.
Mm-hmm.
Birk would be, with the forgot the name of the because I changed my weapon to a Gisam
Okay.
with the. I know with the. I have the glaive or the Gisam. No, I have the Gisam extended.
Yeah.
So kind of like with that, poke open the door and holding it in front of me.
Yeah, but what's Birker doing as we not in this exact moment, but just her general MO essentially as we're moving through this complex. Is she gonna
Question.
step ahead, or is she gonna search the rooms carefully? Letting her eyes wander to look for particular features or
Looking for tracks, any signs of life. Using her hunt, prey, and ranger perception of the world, trying to see
All right.
what's been disturbed by life.
Okay. So I that sounds to me like you're kind of scouting for any signs of creatures that might be around. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Okay. How about Soma? Lucca is detecting magic, I see.
Yeah. I think she will be investigating the surroundings.
All right. So yeah, so that okay, got it. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a weird. So actually, investigate is an activity. You can use any skill that has a recall knowledge action while investigating, but it's a weird thing to do, kind of.
I mean, I do have the Rose Guard lore, which I think will be appropriate for this one.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird because Yeah. Okay. Well, we can. Let's roll.
We,
Let's see what's gonna
I
happen.
mean, I can either search or I can investigate. It's kind of like
Yeah. The problem I have is that with with recall knowledge, like the prompt that would let you recall knowledge is always going to be part of the descriptions of the room. So you would say that anyway, and it's kind of also like a non-action almost. I mean, I know it takes an action, but it's it just seems weird when you compare it to search, where you don't know that there's a stimulus necessarily, and I don't know. It seems weird. Do you know what I mean by that?
I feel like I should know. So
Is you use recall knowledge as a secret check to discover clues among the various things you can see and engage with as you journey along. That's the investigate activity that it would let you do. So basically, whenever there's a recall knowledge check, you don't have to specifically say, "I'm going to recall knowledge." I would roll it for you. But compare that to a perception check that you don't have to announce. It feels infinitely more useful to do search.
yeah,
I don't mean to
no.
put this on you. I'm just going.
Let's just stick with investigate for now because we still just
Okay.
have to open the door. I will.
All right. Then give me 5 recall. Oh, right. It depends on the skill that you're using. So okay, I'm just gonna try to do that from your sheet secretly when it comes up. All right. So we start moving, and as you get ready for it, Lucca, I mean, you've had a hard time tearing yourself away from this room. But as you get ready, as Birke is reaching for the door, and you ping for magic in your immediate surroundings, you notice something from behind you, coming from somewhere inside that giant purple husk.
So yeah, just so with the cantrip version of detect magic, all I can do is detect the presence of magic while filtering out any magic that I'm already aware of.
All right.
But
yeah.
but it seems that I'm detecting something.
Yeah, you're detecting something, and I would guess that seeing that the room is mostly empty except for some individual bones here and there, the only thing that could actually obscure something would be the worms.
Yeah. Hold, Birke. There is something else in here, magical, and I don't mean that well of energy.
I turn, precariously, like what, where?
I don't know precisely, but I can sense it. Perhaps this husk is hiding something.
I'm not crawling inside.
Do I recognize anything from the husk? Anything? Can I do like a recall knowledge to see if I can identify the creature?
Yeah, definitely. Let me see which one. Not nature.
Alright.
And what kind of lore do you have? Just so I know.
I have library. The nerd ranger.
It's not a bookworm. But what do you see? A 17. Well, you've never seen a worm of this size, and or this color. So you have nothing to contribute really.
Nothing. It's like nothing I've read or heard about. I'm sorry.
Does it look like desiccated and dry, or still fleshy?
No, it's pretty desiccated. It must have been here for a long, long time.
Lucca, you mentioned what about the husk?
I can sense the presence of magic here. I'm speculating it's coming from the husk. Actually, hold on. I have recently learned to focus my magical gaze a little bit more. Let's see, is this actually going to help? Not only do I have detect magic now, but I also have this.
Read aura. You focus on the target object, opening your mind to perceive magical auras. When the casting is complete, you know whether that item is magical, and if it is, you learn a school of magic. If the object is illusory, you detect this only if the effect's level is lower than the level of your read aura spell.
So can I sense if the husk itself is magical, or if there's like...
Yeah. With that spell, you definitely notice that it's not the husk itself. It must be something inside.
The husk appears to be nothing more than than the mortal remains of this beast, but there's something within it. There must be.
Let's pry its carpets open then.
Okay. Souma will draw her rapier and prepare to poke it right into.
All right. Yeah. Even with that piercing weapon, the carcass is so dried out. Every time you poke it, it just kind of like crumbles, and you can easily dig through it, and you find what must be the remains of its last meal. It's a skeleton that looks... I mean, it's definitely humanoid, and it looks vaguely dwarfish, you would say, but if somebody wants to give me a appropriate recall knowledge, that would be society.
Sounds like my kind of thing. Oh, come on.
And
Are these blind GM rolls?
well, they should have been, I guess.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so Ottardo, Birke, Souma, you all agree that that's a dwarf, and makes sense, dwarves underground. But Lucca, you notice some subtleties that makes you think that this creature is not just a straight up dwarf, but one of the fabled Durgar. They're something like cousins of the dwarven species or ancestry, but they are known to be dwelling in deep, deep, deep caves, way deeper than the dwarves live these days. Let me see if you know some details about that. And yeah, you've heard of them in hushed tones, as they're known to raid other like settlements, under subterranean settlements, and sometimes very, very rarely they even have raided surface settlements to take slaves, because that's what they're known for. They're notorious slavers.
Yeah, Lucca kind of looks over the remains and he says, "Oh yes, well, if there's anyone who knows bones, it's me. And look here, the orbital plate is just a little bit too broad. You see the ridge here? It's not just a dwarf, but a dwergar."
And in
Those were just legend.
Yeah, make
in
a towards
in
the
particular,
day is waning rapidly.
Carlos, could you get the mic a little bit closer?
Yeah.
Don't hear you very.
I'm using my headset, so it's probably now just the connection, or we just spoke at the same time. I mean, when Lucas identifies the skeleton as Dwergar, Souma will just remark to herself that well, my compassion to the dead guy rapidly wanes now.
Yes. What another giveaway that it's not just a normal dwarf is the warhammer that the skeleton is still clutching, which is decorated in symbols and runes, but none of those have the typical shapes of the dwarven artisans. So that is easily identified as a +1 warhammer.
Oh yes, the hammer too.
which is
Mostly the subtle differences in bone structure.
yes. And it's an unfortunate weapon to have when you're in the belly of a giant worm.
When I click on it, it says I don't have sufficient permission to view the sheet.
Ah, okay. Can I drop it? I don't know how to hand it to you. Can I just drop
You
it
can
on
just drop it on him, I think.
Did you just get it? Is it in your inventory now? Yep.
It is.
Cool.
Okay, so it's really just a basic +1 Warhammer. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a +1 Warhammer. Pretty cool.
It is, yeah. Ottardo will offer it around. Anyone would rather wield this?
Well, I mean, Soma will wave around her rapier, says like, well, I have this poor bastard, so I think I'm good for now.
I don't know if you're right.
Finders keepers.
So does Lucca want it?
No, that was a jest.
Ah,
I mean, let's take it and see what comes of it, but I don't think it really fits any of our particular styles.
All right. So Ottardo is going to hold on for it for now, I assume.
yeah, I'm just trying to. Yeah, he's actually going to switch to it rather than the Morning Star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we could later strip the runes from it and inscribe them to your sword, I guess.
Yes, you can have runes transferred.
And until then, I still have my magic weapon spell prepared, so we'll be good for that.
All right. Well then, should we move on?
Let's
Yes.
continue.
Let's try this again. Go for it, Birke.
All right.
Yes, so
You open the door, which opens, or which is kind of hard to open. Like most doors at this level, the wooden part of it are like really soggy almost with all the humidity in the air, and you have to really put your back into it to push it open. And you step into the hallway beyond, which is pretty narrow. It's just about 5 foot wide, except for some alcoves along each side. And as you step in, you can already see, like in the alcoves directly to your right and left, that there are stone sarcophagi standing upright within each. Interestingly, though, there's like the lids are prepared in a way that that they should resemble a humanoid shape, but it almost looks like a mannequin, you know, like there's no real discernible features yet. It's like a raw version of a humanoid shape, if that makes sense.
That's unnerving. I proceed slowly. I take a
Mhm.
closer look.
Yeah, so you bring I believe it's the magical light of your glaive, if I'm not mistaken.
It's glowing.
Yeah, you bring that closer to that sarcophagus, and you get the impression that this was probably prepared to be further worked to as somebody actually occupies that sarcophagus, their likeness would be chiseled into the stone. That's kind of what it reminds you of, like an unfinished statue almost.
I shudder and like, I hope it's not us put in there.
It's a blank.
And you keep on moving, and as you move through, like the magical light, the shadows of the alcoves and the sarcophagi, like it makes you twitch, and at the corner of your eye, you feel like the shadows are moving, as if something is ready to jump out at any moment. And as you walk further into this hallway, you catch sight of the next two sarcophagi, and the one on the right, as we look on it, so you're left in character, looks just like the other two, like just barely finished lid. But the one on our left looks different. It's the lid has been worked into the shape of a slim woman in pretty fine clothes. And not noble in status, you would think, but a high-ranking servant, maybe. And you bring your Gizarm closer to it to catch more detail of the more intricate shapes. And again, like I said, the shadows are starting to get weird in the magical light. And some of the protrusions of that lid cast their shadows in a strange way that it almost looks as if the shape itself starts to peel itself from the lid as a shadowy figure. And too late, you realize that that's exactly what's happening as a shadow steps out of the sarcophagus. And we roll for initiative.
Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody, don't forget the +1 you get from Birke's scouting.
So we get a +1 from scouting.
Wow.
Soma, you want to roll?
Yeah, I'm adding the +1 from scouting.
Oh, okay.
I never thought the
Oh, nice.
I never thought the pilgrim's token that lets me beat ties would factor in, but here we are.
And oh yeah, nice. Oh. Okay, so Birke, you're like I said, for a second there you feel like the shadows are starting to move, and then you realize it is actually moving, and it's that split second of you realizing it that might help you right here, right now.
All right, then I will hunt prey. And I designate it as my target and gives me the bonus recall knowledge.
All right, then give me a religion roll. And those should be secret, remember?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Any recall knowledge should be secret.
Yeah.
All right. So, no, it just, to you, it just seems like it is an animated shadow. Weird.
I'm going to strike at it in a mad panic, trying to dispel this atrus fog.
All right. Okay. So you hit. There's. Give me a second. Okay. So you strike it. Roll for damage. 11 points of damage. Okay, so the thing itself is just shadowy mass, right? So as you bring your Gazarm forward, almost in like a reflex, trying to stab it, you almost feel sheepish because it's just a shadow. But the magical light that your Gazarm is shedding is almost burning away the shadowy texture of this creature, and you do actually cause some damage to it. So let's see if it does the math correctly here. Yeah, it does not. So I'm gonna have to add some manually. All right. Okay, yeah, but otherwise you mostly poke through the shadow, and the blade of your Gazarm kind of scrapes against the stony lid of the sarcophagus. All right, third action.
Move away.
Mm-hmm.
Make
All
some
right.
space.
Got it. Ottardo.
Uh, Well, I guess Ottardo will step into the space vacated by Birke. See, what is it that we're up against?
Yeah, and you do
Yeah.
see this shadowy creature.
Um, After that, he will raise his shield and attempt to strike it with his brand new warhammer.
All right,
Bludgeon a shadow to death. Why not?
do it, and you miss, and you just slam your new warhammer against the sarcophagus lid, which starts to crumble under the blow. Third action.
That was all. Move, strike, and shield.
Okay, Soma.
Okay, I think for this time I will use Forbidden Ward on Sir Ottardo, so well, so the shadow would have harder time touching him, and that's 2 actions. And for my third action, I will have to step away. On my
All
next round,
right.
I will start the song
Okay,
because
Lucca.
technically I drew my rapier, so I don't have my magical instrument in hand at the moment.
All right.
Lucca will step up a little to get a better view on this. Can he target it from here?
Yes.
Then that is what he will do. He sees the shadow having risen from a sarcophagus. I think it's reasonable. Oh, yeah, especially now that I see the art. Reasonable to assume that this thing is undead. And he says, "This place is haunted by many spirits." Well, I have the answer for that. And he's going to cast a spell. Or cantrip. Chill Touch.
Ooh. Let's see. Siphoning negative energy into your hand radiates opaque darkness. Against an undead creature, the target is flat-footed for 1 round on a failed fortitude save. On a critical failure, the target is also fleeing for 1 round unless it succeeds at a will save. Okay. Let me see if there's anything I should consider about fortitude saves. Does it give me the traits? No. Hold on a second. Incorporeal. Blah, blah, blah. Can't attempt strength based. Usually have immunity defects or conditions that require physical body, like disease, poison, precision. Blah, blah. But no, it's not a blanket, like nothing that has a fortitude save. Okay. Alright, so I'll let it roll it safe. And it succeeds.
Okay, then there's no effect, I believe.
Alright, okay. That was 2 actions. Okay. So then it actually finishes peeling itself free of the sarcophagus. And weirdly, at first you were thinking that it just looked like the shape on the lid because it was, it was pushing itself out of that. But even now that it has revealed itself entirely, it still probably chooses to have the shape of that person that was interred here. Except for the fact that it is like the edges are wavering, and it's entirely made up of that shadow energy. And as it steps out of the sarcophagus, it reaches out to touch Ottardo with its shadowy hand. So that's action 1, and it hits you for 10 points of damage. And then, yep.
I'm trying to think, is there anything about blocking a touch attack, if touch attacks are even a thing?
I don't think touch attacks are a thing.
Okay, so
So I don't think that is a thing, first of all. And I mean, it's attack. It's an attack. It has the attack trait. It's a melee attack.
Okay, so he should be able to shield block.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well then that's what he will do.
Can a shield take negative energy damage?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm not so sure of. So, I think that you can use the shield to increase your AC. But I don't think that you can have it take the negative energy damage.
I don't know if that.
Take negative
I don't think that.
Oh, yeah, but it does. It does actually say like it's just because it's just energy damage, so it takes half the amount. It's just like any other energy, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is like the withering force of decay. I mean, it would be strange
Right.
if it would be taking like psychic damage or something like that. But I mean, negative.
Right,
energy is
right.
good.
Yeah, shield.
Okay. We'll go with it for now, and I'll try to research it after the session for next time. But yeah, all right. Okay. So that was its attack. So you still took some damage, correct?
Yep, 5 points made it through. 5 points damaged the shield.
Okay. So then the next thing that happens is that you feel a strange pull, and you watch as your shadow that is cast because of Birke's magical light gets ripped and pulled and tugged as it's trying to separate it from you, which makes you enfeebled 1 at this point in time. So it hasn't succeeded yet, but you can see how it's actually pulling on your shadow, loosening the connection with it, which makes you enfeebled 1. And then for its third action, gonna try to hide in the shadowy little alcove here, because there are plenty of shadows and it is made of shadow. It doesn't need cover. It just kind of like sinks into the darkness of that little alcove. All right, so I can roll my stealth, and I'll do that. I guess I can roll it publicly because you're gonna have to compare it to your DCs. So I'm gonna roll it here, and well, nope, that was Ottardo. Didn't want to roll Ottardo's stealth check. That's much better. And I can reveal it. So, yeah. So if you want to search for it, that's what you. I guess if first of all, it successfully hides from all of you. You don't see it anymore. It just blends with the shadow in the corner, but you probably know it's still there. Birke.
How many actions to take out and light a torch?
I would say 1 to take it out and 1 to light it.
Okay. So I'm going to take out my torch.
You have a two-handed weapon, so I would say you would need to stow that as well.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, you can drop it as a free action, though.
What's that?
You can drop your weapon as a free action. So
Right. And then you could pick it back up as the third one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, because as a third action, I actually want to throw the torch into the alcove, kind of like to dispel the shadows.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. You can do that. So you drop your gizarm, you take out the torch, you light it, and then you just toss it into the alcove. It bounces off the sarcophagus lid and rolls around, creating even more flickering, dancing shadows as it moves. But the shadow is nowhere to be seen, so maybe it worked. Ottardo.
We'll see.
Ottardo is going to try to seek. I think I'm not sure what the name of the action is, but basically look.
You're correct. It is seek.
Closely. Okay.
Give me a secret perception roll.
Okay.
and you do not see the shadow.
Okay, and then he's going to raise his shield again. And take a step back into the other alcove if he can.
Yeah, you are now basically you have your back against the unfinished sarcophagus behind you. But yeah, you can do that. That's your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, Soma.
Yes. For my first action, I will sheath my rapier. For my other action, I will draw my flute, and for my third action, I will cast an inspire courage.
All right. So everybody pulled that effect on you. And yeah, thanks Anthony for pointing that out. I thought it must be more complicated to light a torch than just a single action. But yeah.
There's the tinder twig item, which lets you do it with one action,
Okay.
but you still have to have it in hand. Yeah.
There's actually a module specifically for this call. So I dropped my torch.
Yeah.
I've actually
All
used
right.
it a couple of times.
So everybody remember to pull that effect onto your token, the Inspire Courage effect, and then
Yeah, that's
that was Soma's turn.
Yes, that's it. That's 3 actions.
Okay, Lucca.
So has Birke dropped a torch in there,
Yes.
and it's still not visible?
No, there's plenty of shadows for it to hide in.
Okay. In that case, Lucca is actually. Jeez, I don't know. I don't know if it's. What would Lucca do? 'Cause I've encountered this creature before, or I've run this creature before, but I think Lucca would probably step up.
Do you want to seek?
Yeah, I suppose so. Let's seek. Oh, that does not help me much.
No, but I'm putting a perception prompt in the chat here. So you can... All right. Let me double check its DC. Well, there are plenty of moving shadows. The torch still rolling around on the floor. And for a second there, you thought you saw it, but it seems to be just a regular shadow.
Okay. Lucca does also have a lantern on him. I don't know if having multiple light sources helps make it any easier, but yeah, okay. He looks around in there, doesn't see it, and he is going to. He really wants to. He's going to back off again one more time. He doesn't want to block Ottardo in.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna try something here, and I'll tell you how it went. Ottardo, what's your perception DC?
That would be 14.
14. Well, then you kind of, you have your back against the sarcophagus, and you're carefully watching that alcove in front of you as Lucas steps away. His shadow moves with him, but then, and taking you by surprise, from his shadow emerges the shadowy creature and tries to touch you again. So it attacks from hiding, which I believe gives it a bonus, which it probably doesn't even need. Oh, actually, that might make the difference here.
It just makes him flat-footed, right?
I believe it makes you flat-footed against this, yeah.
Well, that makes it just barely a hit. Wait. I do have one extra point of AC, which I can't really account for on the sheet from the Forbidden Word
Oh,
from
that's
Soma. So that
exactly
is
what you needed.
yes.
Oh, wow, perfect. Okay, yeah, that's the perfect um number so that it just barely misses. Let's say its shadow bounces off that forbidding ward that Soma cast on you, and then it kind of dives headfirst into your own shadow behind you, Ottardo, and it's gonna try to hide. Let's see. Oh, I can do this. Oh, right, I need to select it first and then roll. And it basically disappears from view for everyone. Birke.
First of all, I'm gonna pick up my weapon.
All right. Picked up.
And with its glowing light, and I destroy the sarcophagus.
You try to use your piercing weapon to smash the stone sarcophagus.
And maybe with the butt of it.
Okay.
Or I don't know, like knock the sarcophagus down, or some way to destroy it.
You would try to like leverage the
Use
lid off so that
use it as a lever and like
yeah, sure, you can do that, of course. So you move in, you like wedge it in there, and then you lean heavily against it. I'm gonna say that'll take you 2 actions to do the whole thing, and you can give me a strength check.
Where is this? Here we go. Why can I not click it?
I don't know. You can also just roll a d20 and then see from there.
Okay.
I can reveal that because it's
Yeah, it's very bad. It's really wet.
it's pretty
It's
stuck.
not budging.
Yeah, it's pretty stuck. It's been here for a long time. Ottardo.
So the creature dove towards Ottardo's shadow,
Mm-hmm.
and he feels that it's hidden right next to him now. He is very not comfortable with that. He's going to try to seek. Can I reuse the perception that you put out before?
Just roll for it. Oh, you mean the prompt for it?
Yeah.
I can do that again. Here you go.
Okay. There we go.
Nice. Yes, it's actually a critical success, and you see it linger right in front of you, basically under Birke. It's half overlapping your and Birke's shadows, but you see it. So it's obscured now, I think, is how it works.
Okay. Would they be able to target
Yeah.
it for a strike?
Yes.
Okay. Could you maybe show it on the map so that I can make sure that it is targeted for the macros and all that?
There you go.
Okay. There we go. So yes, he is going to swipe at it with the warhammer, hoping to not bonk Birke on the head.
I would appreciate that.
And he misses, and for his last action, he is going to raise his shield again.
Okay. Soma. So the shadow, for you, the shadow is still hidden. You saw Ottardo like kind of slam his hammer at the ground next to Birke, but you do not. So you have an idea where it is roughly, but it is hidden from you.
Yeah, well, I think I'm not going to run past Lucca for now, so I will just renew Inspire Courage. Then I will Yes, then I will keep maintaining forbidding word. I think actually on the last round we kind of fumbled that bit for a moment because I think I had to sustain it.
Oh,
That's second action, and well, I don't really have any use for my third action, so I will just say that I will take cover behind the door. Since I'm staying adjacent to the open door, so I will take cover behind
All right.
it.
Got it. Lucca.
So if I know roughly where it is, can I target it with chill touch? I don't know how that interacts with the spell. It's
Currently, it has the hidden state from you. So while you're hitting, the creature knows the space you're in, but can tell precisely where you are. It must succeed at a DC 11 flat check when targeting you with an attack, spell, or other effect, or it fails to affect you.
So it's just a 50-50.
Yeah. I can prompt you.
I see Ottardo striking at the shadow. I'm going to start by trying to make a recall knowledge check about this thing.
Okay. Sure. That's religion.
Religion. I am somewhat versed. Actually, I have spirits lore. Would that apply?
It's not really. I would say it's unspecific lore in this case. So yeah, it applies, but it's not. It's better than the general knowledge skill, but not as good as specific lore. So yeah, I'll let you use it.
Okay. The killer is I'm actually better at religion than spirits lore, but I don't know if the DC difference is significant enough to go with spirits. I'll try spirits. I guess this is hidden.
Well, So it doesn't strike you as a spirit per se. It's not like it's a ghost, even though it does seem to have no physical body per se, and it seems to be capable of changing its shape. It's made just of this like shadowy stuff. But you don't think that it's a ghost or a spirit in that sense. You do think it's undead, but that's pretty much all you have to go on here.
Okay. And I can't make another recall knowledge check using a different skill, right? That's just...
I don't know, because you're not using the same skill. I guess you should be able to. I think you're only... Yeah, it's only if you use the same skill that you can re-roll or roll again after a failure.
Okay. Well then I guess realizing that it's not a spirit, he's gonna spend his second action scanning through mentally his own knowledge of religious texts. Let's see if that doesn't do him any better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how could you get this so wrong before? Of course, it's not a spirit. It's quite what it seems to be. It's a shadow. Which means that it is a somewhat mysterious undead. It lurks in dark places and it feeds on those who stray too far from the light. They are known to ambush those who aren't careful in dark places because they can hide very well in any kind of shadow. That's all they need to be able to hide. They are also known to steal people's shadows and turn them into creatures under their own control, at least for some time. And one last thing you know about them is that they are resistant to all kinds of damage, except force, ghost touch, positive, and that they have quite a major resistance against anything that is non-magical. Although magical light is, like any object that sheds magical light is treated as magical. when used to attack a shadow.
Ooh.
Quite a few things.
Yeah, Lucca doesn't have time to express all of that, especially because some of it's already been made obvious. But he'll call out, "Ottardo, it's trying to make a thrall of your shadow, and there's no point in striking it with mundane weapons. Birke, you've got the right idea with that glaive." And he's going to say, in fact, Birke, you should use that glaive, and the next moment that that thing reveals itself as it strikes Ottardo, you should strike it then. Wait until it reveals itself, and I will bless you with great killing power, as he's going to use his last action to use Diabolic Edict on Birke.
All right.
Although she once again has to be willing, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
I am.
Okay. Then you can pull that spell effect onto your token, and then it's the shadow's turn. And what's it gonna do? It has a hard time getting to Ottardo right now. So I think I'm gonna try to sneak away from you. So let's see. Stealth here. Token roll privately. And yeah, all right. It sneaks away from you, and then Birke. You see in Lucca's face as he points behind you, as the shadow just kind of peels itself off a dark part of the wall and attacks you with surprise. So you are flat-footed against the next attack by it, which means this is definitely a hit. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah. So is it still hidden from everyone, or just, or is it visible?
As it attacks, it has to.
It has to show up. Okay.
Or does it? Let me check that. Double check that. If you appear after the attack completes, or if you appear during the attack.
If it's just the standard stealth rules,
Yeah, basically.
I think you count, or rather, the enemy is flat-footed to that attack only, but you are revealed as you do it.
So as you do it, you sure about that?
I think so. I'd have to look it up.
You cease being hidden if you do anything except hide, sneak, or step. If you attempt to strike a creature, the creature remains flat-footed against that attack, and you then become observed. That's what it says. So I think as it happens, it's not yet observed. So that's 8 points of damage for Birke. And then it uses its...
Would Ottardo be able to use his reaction?
Yeah,
even if
No, because you're basically not aware of it being in that spot. Or tell me about that reaction. Like, what's
the reaction is if an ally within 15 feet is damaged by an enemy within 15 feet, I can grant the ally resistance to damage, and separately I can also take an attack of opportunity, or rather just take a strike. If we ignore the second part, can Ottardo at least grant the resistance, even if he can't target the creature?
What traits does that ability have?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What is it called too?
It's the champion reaction. Let's pull the causes. It's retributive strike. Retributive strike is specific. Yeah, it's the specific one. It just has the
champion. Yeah. It doesn't have visual or anything, so I think he might. to meet the requirements to use it.
Yeah, and I think even the strength should be okay because it follows the damage. So, I mean, the resistance is not because you like bring your shield, I mean, the weapon or anything like that. So I think that should really apply, and then the damage has to apply it, so the attack is complete, and then you do your attack. So I think, yeah, I think you can do it. I think you can do it all.
Right, so that should be 4 points of resistance.
Okay, so Birke can
Yeah.
heal for 4,
Mhm.
actually.
And
And then you get to attack it. It's
okay.
some cover. Okay, that's a hit. And it takes that damage.
It is a magical weapon.
Yep, that's why it takes no damage.
Probably still has DR.
It still applies its resistance to it. It's just not doubled against it. So
Oh,
that's gonna be rough. All right. So, but then it pulls and pulls on Birke's shadow, making her enfeebled 1, and that's its turn. So it doesn't have any actions left to hide and melt away. So now's your chance, Birke.
Now I followed what I should have been doing from the start. And stab at it with my gnome. Light bursting through it. Performing
Roll.
requested diabolic edict.
Yes, you should
All
still
right.
have the Inspire Courage, so it's supposed to for +1.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. The edict does not stack with the +1, so it's just the +1.
Never mind then.
Right. And it's a hit.
Ah.
And you don't have to roll that privately. The attack rolls.
It did it automatically.
I think there's a drop down where you
Yeah.
just switch. All right, so that's 13 points of damage. It will only apply 3 first, but that's because it doesn't know about the magical light. So that's another 5. All right, yeah, that actually works, and the shadow makes a hissing sound as your magically illuminate his arm drills into the shadowy figure. You almost feel a resistance from that dark matter as you drive it in. That was action 1.
Well, seeing the success of the first attack, I'll press on.
And that's another hit. And I'll reveal that it's 7 points of damage, of which only a little bit will come through. But that was wrong. But even so, at least it is working. Third action.
Move it to the side.
All right, so you squeeze into the alcove over there. Ottardo.
Ottardo is going to raise his shield again and try to bash the creature once more.
And you hit and you strike for 10 points, of which 5 come through. The thing is badly injured. You can see like large gaps in its apparently intentionally humanoid form, as if it's having a hard time to keep it together, literally.
And he is going to attempt to. He's going to try something. He's going to try to reach out and touch it.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
It would take a basic fortitude against DC 17.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Nice. Very nice. Succeeds. So halved, I guess?
Yes.
So that is half the damage that it's taking. Nice. So you cause some damage to it by simply laying your hands on the shadowy texture. As you touch it, you feel cold coming from that shadow stuff that it's made of. Not like it's damaging you or anything, just this like really cold sensation. And it makes you weirdly sad as you rummage around in that incorporeal mass. That's the third action, so then it's Soma's turn.
Okay. I think I will drop the forbidding word on Ottardo for now. Sorry, and I will once again renew Inspire Courage, and for my other two actions, I will try to use Steel Kinetic Projectile on the shadow.
Okay, so you
Yeah, so
toss a mundane object at it.
more or less. So someone plays a tune on her flute, and then she makes a sharp note, causing one of the objects to shoot into the shadow.
Okay. Yeah, sure. You hurl it at the shadow. Roll for attack, I guess.
Never mind.
And you miss it. It just slings past. All right, that's your turn.
Yes, that was 3 actions.
Okay, Lucca.
Lucca will step forward and he's going to say, "Get away from my allies. You're getting sad all over them." And he's going to cast Chill Touch again.
Chill. Damn it. All right, safe. It fails. Target is
Making
flat-footed for 1 round. Nice. And then it's its turn, and it's just like being heavily damaged through various attacks and now also chilled to the core. It just makes this hissing sound at Lucca as the last one who attacked it. And then it kind of sidesteps into the wall.
Bastard.
As one, and then and then Ottardo right next to you. All of a sudden, it reaches out through the wall. Like you see, its shadowy arm coming out of the wall, a large part of its body as it leans out and tries to touch you with its shadow hand. All right, that's a hit, I assume.
Yep.
And that is 10 points of damage.
Took a bad time taking down
It's fine. He will eat the damage.
Right. And then it continues to pull on your own shadow as its third action, which makes you enfeebled 2 at this point. You should have enfeebled 2. But that robs it of the third action, which it would need, I would say, to fully fall back into the wall. So it currently is like half leaning out of the wall, so it has some cover. It's not entirely protected, but it's also not entirely out in the open. Birke.
Can I prepare an attack for it when it reappears?
It is leaning halfway out of the wall, so you would have enough.
So I can't see it.
You can see it, yes, for sure. It just has some cover right now because it's not all the way out.
Okay, because my character, I can't see it on the
Yeah, you can't see it on the map here, but it is here.
Well, then I will, regardless if it's facing into the wall.
Right. So, I mean, Lucca is in the way right now, so you could wait for him to make some room. That would definitely make the attack easier. But you don't have.
Yeah, then I think I will delay. Yeah,
Okay.
Look for a.
All right. Ottardo.
So he sees it right next to him. He is going to raise his shield again.
Mm-hmm.
Attempt to strike it. Is it right? Okay, yeah. The enfeebled is there. He will attempt. He fails, and then he will step to the side.
Okay, so you miss it, and then you walk out. You squeeze past Lucca to get out of that alcove, out of that immediate range of the shadow, and then it's Soma's turn. You don't see it at all because it was, everything happened in that alcove.
for. I think to use the forbidding word, I actually have to see this shadow, so I don't think I can put it back on Sir Ottardo.
Okay.
Well, I will still renew the Inspire Courage as usual, and I will have to move forward to be able to see what's happening more clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think, about it.
All right, Lucca.
I will try to chill touch it once again, since that drops off on my turn.
All right. That's just a save. There's no attack involved, so the fact that it's halfway in the wall doesn't help it, and it's a failure. So I guess it's still flat-footed.
And then he's going to skedaddle out of. Well, shit, we're gonna go into the wall again, but Birke delayed, so
Yes, so it's Birke's turn. That coming up next. So you see that the fact that I'm going to say that the fact that Lucca chill touched it made it like slightly more corporeal. So you see that it's like frosted over and has a hard time sinking back into the wall. So now's the chance to strike it. Strike
Now I attack.
cold is the saying, I think. And
Why did it do it again? Fine.
you keep making everything secret.
Yes, I don't know why. I messed it up. But I missed.
that's a miss indeed.
Why is Birke enfeebled?
Because she was touched.
She,
It was touched.
yeah,
She
did
got
get-
touched. Okay.
Okay, but I'll try again.
Hey,
Haha.
there you go.
There's a hit. And you also don't need to roll that secret. And
Yeah. I just clicked damage. Here there's no roll down menu. I don't know why it does it secretly.
so it says it took no damage, but that's not right. It should be 4 points of damage. All right. Third action.
And screw it. What are the odds? There's nothing else I can do. Yeah. Okay.
And that's a crit miss.
Fair
All right. Okay, so first of all, it starts moving back into the wall, and then it pops up from the floor here behind Ottardo. Ottardo, you're going to be flat-footed against that first attack, which makes this a solid hit for 9 points of damage. And then it takes its third action to give you enfeebled 3, which means at this point it succeeds in fully separating your shadow from your body.
There you go, Peter Pan.
Okay, so we have that. So now that your creature's shadow is pulled free by Still Shadow, it becomes a shadow spawn. So I'm going to say it like pulls it. I guess the shadow falls behind you for now. This shadow spawn doesn't have Steel Shadow and is perpetual and lingering blood. Does it actually have that condition? I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't. I need to apply it. It was pulled from dice. Alright. Yeah, so it succeeds in pulling free that shadow of yours, and it manifests right behind you, Ottardo. It still has your shape since it is your shadow, and it's kind of, you can see that it's clumsily realizing that it is now in command of its movement and no longer shackled to your every whim. And that is a bad thing. Let me add it to the initiative tracker. This will also at the end of the round. So next round it will take its first turn. Ottardo, your turn. No actions left to disappear, so at least that's a good thing.
I'm sorry, didn't get that.
The shadow didn't have an action left to sink back into the floor, so at least that's the thing.
Okay. Maybe we can try to end this quick, although it seems quite difficult. He will swipe at the original shadow
Mm-hmm.
and not do any damage.
That's correct. No damage.
He will raise his shield again, and looking pale like that, he will start an orderly retreat.
Moving right through the incorporeal shadow that still has your shape basically. So you just kind of like blast right through it. Soma.
Alright. I will, well, as usual, continue renewing Inspire Courage, so it will be a controlled retreat and not a flight. And we will try to prevent our champion from dying. I will cast Soothe on him.
Okay. So soothe only cures hit points though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then it's Lucca's turn.
The suit was on
On you, on Ottardo.
Ottardo. Okay, thank you.
7 points.
Yeah, Ottardo's not in great shape. Can we pass through the shadow square? It's not like occupant.
It is incorporeal, so I don't see why not.
Okay. Lucas shrugs and he's like, well, considering all this negative damage, I think I'm probably the best person here to take the front line for once. And then he's going to stride forward. Man, part of me really wants to heal Ottardo with the wand, but part of me also wants to try to use it on this shadow.
Couldn't you like just do the burst?
I don't have the wand out right now, unfortunately. I have to draw it, so yeah, I think for now he's hoping to keep this thing's attention. He draws the wand and his it's just verbal, so he can do this. He draws the wand and he's going to cast shield on himself.
Alright.
Just in case.
Yeah, so walk, draw, and cast shield. Got it. Okay, Birke.
So I see we're all kind of making a tactical retreat, right?
Not really.
Okay.
Ottardo made
just
sure.
Ottardo.
Yeah, Ottardo moved into the back, but the rest of your group still seems intent fighting this.
And since this one in the middle is a new one, can I do hunt prey on it and do recall knowledge?
Sure. Yeah, I would say you should be able to do that.
Because the other one is not within reach of me, right? It's hidden at the moment.
It is, but it has a lot of cover because there's
it's
in the way.
not really worth it. But this one, I shall designate it my prey. And recall knowledge.
Yep, that's still religion.
Okay, religion. Okay. Could I? Because I tried religion the other time, and nothing in the religious text I read explained it. Could it be something different, like occultism or arcana? Since they're ghosts and shadows and spirits and stuff.
Yep, all of those things are covered by religion.
Because I have different modifiers for occultism and arcana.
Yeah, but those are different creatures that are covered by those skills.
Okay. So, occultism? Sorry, I got confused.
Still religion.
Still religion. Fine. This is blind.
Well, I mean, now that you've seen them move and fight, and now that you've seen that what happened here, you do remember actually a story about about a person whose shadow was stolen, and it's not, yeah, it was just that for you, a story, but there were some interesting details that come to mind right now, which is that if the person whose shadow is stolen were to die, then its shadow would become a fully fledged autonomous shadow creature. But if the person whose shadow was stolen was able to recover from its enfeeblement, sorry,
Wizard.
then the shadow would eventually return to it.
How do we cure enfeeblement? Birke know that.
In this case, it takes a couple of hours.
Okay.
Oh man, I gotta
So
get
first violence.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, take a moment. Okay, so we have to refibble Ottardo.
Yeah, but what happens if we break the skull of the shadow?
I think that's our best course of action at the moment. First violence, then a proper.
Well, I think that the largest issue is probably the original shadow.
Must die, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So in that story, you remember that there was one person who died, and its shadow then actually became its own creature. There was another person that was able to flee after its shadow had been taken, and after resting for a couple of hours, regaining their strength, the shadow reappeared, and everything was fine from then on.
Okay, so we won't have to sew it back on like with Peter Pan.
Correct.
Like we still try to sew it on.
You can always try.
Okay. But first things first, and first is violence, and I will attack the shadow in front of me.
Okay, that looks like Ottardo, your friend and trusty savior.
Yes, kill it.
And maybe that is why your hand is not
Sneaky.
steady. I said,
But I must
Third
steel
act.
myself. I
yeah, third,
know you're not Ottardo. Aha.
and indeed, you do steal yourself, and you cause 11 points of damage. Which gets reducted somewhat, but nonetheless. All right. That was your turn. Then it's the Shadow's turn. It is entirely uninterested in Lucca for some reason. And what it does is it sinks into the floor, disappears, reappears right here, and it just won't let up. It doesn't. It's just gonna try to kill Ottardo. So it is targeting you with another Shadow Hand attack, but misses ever so closely. And let's see if it's what is it gonna do? No, it is being cocky. It's gonna try to attack you again. It misses. Oof. Okay, that puts it in the spot. Okay, so the shadow Ottardo's shadow, looking like Ottardo, it's still like you can see that it is kind of disoriented. It's trying to figure out its new way of existing, and then it just randomly chooses Souma and tries to touch her. with her hand, with its hand. There we go. It hits, and it does 14
Ooh.
points of damage.
That's
But it doesn't seem to be able or willing or interested in taking your shadow. Instead, it just keeps on attacking, but misses a couple more times. All right. Then it's Ottardo's turn.
Ottardo is going to raise his shield again because that was very effective in protecting him a couple times. And now that the shadow is flanked with Soma, he will attempt to swipe at it again, hoping to put this thing down and
Oh.
failing.
Oh,
Hero
And
point. Hero point.
Sure. He'll
Alright.
spend the hero point and let's try. Nope. And well, he doesn't really have many other options, so he's going to try to take the second swing
okay.
and miss.
Okay. Well, it looks desperate. Ottardo is fighting for his life over there. Soma.
okay. Let's help him. I will firstly inspire courage, and then I will actually draw my weapon and attack.
Alright, let's see that roll.
Oh,
That's
God.
That's a miss by 2.
Yeah, maybe I also should try to reroll.
Do hero points still give you the option to just take a plus something to your roll? Or do you have to use them to
It's a
roll it?
reroll.
It's a reroll.
Okay.
I think I will try to reroll it.
Alright.
There.
Yes.
That's better.
There's the roll for damage. Not that much. No damage at all from that attack. Lucca.
Oh God, we've got this wand, and I guess it's more important to kill this thing, right? I don't know what makes more sense, to heal or to try to kill it.
Can't you do both with the emanation?
Yeah, I mean, now that you...
Oh, can I? Oh, that's right.
You
I
do-
totally
you-
forgot about the 3-action version. That's
You also can exclude yourself from the emanation.
Can
so
I?
You are,
Yes.
yeah.
uh,
It's a general rule for all emanations.
yeah. I know the rule says typically you can exclude yourself.
It doesn't say you can't, so I would say that typically means unless stated
Right,
otherwise.
right. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, let's do the 3-action version. 30-foot emanation. Lucca excludes himself and is going to hit everyone with the heal. I don't. Can I cast it from? I think I did this last time. Can I cast it from the sheet? Yes, I can. All right. So 3 actions. I'll do the healing, I guess. Only 6 points. Actually, I guess that's not bad. 6 points.
So and both shadows take that as damage.
They have to make the saving throw first.
Okay, well then.
Basic
there it
fortitude
is.
save. Damn it.
Oh, this saved. This one failed. Okay.
Okay, so the saved one will take 3. Failed will take 6.
Oh, nice. Okay. 3 come back. Okay. Well, still, that's definitely helpful. You see the shadow getting almost translucent as it becomes worn thin, the energy animating it, the unlife force is being whittled away by the positive energy. That was one turn for Lucca? Or that was the whole thing because it's a three
There's three
action thing.
actions.
Got it. All right, Birke.
I'm going to press on the attack.
You hit.
My glowing gizem flying.
And you cause some good damage to. Well, you would if it was doing the math correctly. There we go. Okay, then it's the shadow between Souma and Ottardo. First action, it's gonna try to.
Wait, I'm not done. I still have 2 actions.
Oh, sorry. Of course. Yeah. Go ahead.
Which I'll make very quick because I am just swinging at it for a miss. And one last blind swing.
And blind indeed. All right. The
Shadows are hard to hit.
shadow here is going to try to touch Ottardo with its first action.
Oh my
Hit
god.
him for 10 points of damage. And then it is going to sink into the floor. Wait, no, actually, it's going to try it one more time before it's doing that. But it misses, and then it sinks into the floor, disappearing from view. The other shadow down here that gets harassed by Birke is turning towards you, and your friend Ottardo, at least something that looks a lot like him, reaches out its shadowy hand to touch you, misses the first time, hits the second time, does 12 points of damage, and then kind of follows through by just like whirling around and spinning into the wall, disappearing.
Ouch. That's
Okay.
that's deep.
So that was the shadows' turns. Both of them are currently not inside Ottardo.
Ottardo is going to raise his shield and then he's going to prepare, spend 2 actions to ready
Mm-hmm.
an attack against any shadow that would materialize next to him.
All right, Soma.
Well, once again, inspire courage for one, and after that, I have to think for a moment because I have 1 healing potion left, and I'm not sure it. Yeah, I think I will just try to keep Ottardo alive again. I will use another soothe. It might be somewhat suboptimal, but
So, what are you doing?
yeah, I heal Ottardo.
All right. 6 points of damage healed for Ottardo. Lucca.
Lucca is going to use this opportunity to cast a spell and get it going because he cannot ready his spells the same way that other people can ready attacks. So, let's get a little Bane going with the hopes that maybe we can help out our friends here.
So how does it work? You cast it? You fully cast it? Is that what you do? Or
yes, it's just no. I can't ready. I can't ready 2 actions. So I just have to cast it.
okay, right? Okay, so
I cast Bane, and I have 1 more action. The question is, where do I stick myself? I'm gonna move in the hopes that this thing is gonna come after Ottardo. It really seems to have it out for him, so I'm gonna try to move up here. And I'll kind of step over here so that my Bane will influence this area.
Okay. And then it's Birke's turn.
Well, what Lucca did seems like a good idea. They are looking after Ottardo. Going after Ottardo, and I'm in no condition to stick around either. So Birke is going to lug it a bit.
Okay.
Lucca, as everyone's rushing past, Lucca very earnestly says, "Whatever you do, do not let them get into that negative energy well."
And yep.
So you hunker down into that alcove.
And yeah, take cover or whatever. What are my options? Can I ready an attack or take cover as a final action, or do I just
So there was just one action that you did so far?
have the move? Yeah.
Yeah, you still have 2 actions, so you could use those 2 actions to ready a single attack for when
Yes.
a shadow
That's
pops
fine.
up. Okay. And it's a good thing you do because sensing the fact that there is somebody nearby whose shadow is still ripe for the plucking, the shadow emerges from the ground, which triggers both Ottardo and Birke's attacks.
Okay.
And you better both land those.
My God. It needs to make the save on the Bane.
It needs to make a save on the Bane, which it does. Birke strikes though for 19. So let's see that. That's important.
More than 5.
Wow.
Okay.
That damage, which reduces it to 9 points, and I'm not kidding when I say that the shadow has exactly 9 hit points left.
Wow.
So it's almost with your last strength that you scramble into the alcove. You have your gizarm ready. Your eyes are darting left and right. All of the shadows that are moving because you're moving your gizarm around and it makes the shadows dance. You're growing paranoid. You're on your last legs, and then really one of those shadows actually emerges and tries to reach out for you, but you poke your gizarm right into its shadowy head between the ghostly eyes, and the shadow goes and disperses. Awesome. However, that's not the only shadow in here. There is now another one. And that one is still ready to fight it out. So let's see. In Soma, there's only darkness besides you, so you have no real way of seeing this coming. You're flat-footed against the attack that is about to happen.
I curse it. Silent.
And yes, you do, but not before it actually strikes you for 8 points of damage. And then
Ottardo will use his reaction to grant Soma 4 points of resistance.
nice. So it's only 4 points of damage to Soma. And then it is hiding in the darkness. Let me see. It's roll blindly. Yeah. So yeah, it's in the darkness. Soma, you can almost sense it. The darkness is so thick, though, that you're not sure what is a trick of the mind and what is actual movement. Ottardo.
Ottardo, I think. What would he do? I think he'll attempt to see if he can catch the creature. Yeah, perception.
Okay. Now there's the pitch black darkness at the back of this hallway now. There's nothing that you can see for sure.
In that case, he will prepare an action to attack if a shadow materializes next to him, and that'll be his turn.
Okay. Soma.
Well, I guess Someone will make a yelp. Then she will blindly swing her rapier in the darkness behind her.
All right.
If I don't remember.
Yeah, you roll a blind d20.
Okay. DM roll.
And then you can roll your regular attack roll. Okay, roll your regular attack roll. All right, and through sheer luck, you actually feel some resistance as you poke your poor bastard into the darkness. Roll for damage. Okay, so now this was also secret. I don't know why.
Yeah, because I've set in the chat the roll, so it's
Right. But there is no damage that you do. That was one.
That's one action. Second action, Soma will run away. And
Yeah.
for my third action, I will renew Inspire Courage.
All right, Lucca.
I think I have to choose whether I do the Bane starting. Oh no, I don't have to choose it right away. Okay, so let me step over here and see what the situation is. Unknown. Great.
Yes, you could seek, but there's no shadow that is visible.
He's
Right.
not bothering. He's just gonna step over here, almost as if inviting this thing to take his place. He's gonna bring his aura with him. Can't see it, so he might as well use an action to expand his aura.
Mm-hmm.
Another 5 feet. Come on. And then he has an action left to do something with. He already used shield on himself. Not that he even needs it. They're not attacking. I guess that's it.
All right, Birke.
Can he aid? Isn't there like a way he can help an ally?
Probably, but we'll can deal with it when it gets to it.
Yeah.
I think you're readying yourself to aid as a reaction. All right, Birke.
So, bleeding profusely, Birke is kind of just like leaning against the wall, his arm readied for the next time the shadow materializes to stab at it. So, ready an attack.
Okay, that leaves one action that you still have left.
Can I scout or like what can I do that improves my chances or helps?
Take cover.
Take cover. Yeah, I'm leaning against the wall and try to minimize my exposed area.
Okay. All right. All right. What is the Ottardo's shadow going to do? I mean, it is new to this plane of existence, so I would think that it doesn't really, and it doesn't have life sense or anything like that, so it wouldn't be. So it has no way of knowing that Lucca is not a target. So I'm going to say it's going to try to attack you. You moved yourself into that spot. It's you're an easy target. So what it does, so you're flat-footed to this attack. I'm sure you don't particularly care about it. As the shadow emerges, like one of the shadows you thought were just actual shadows from the Gazarm, a light turns out to be Ottardo's shadow as it moves into view and tries to touch you with its shadow strike, hitting causing 10 points of negative energy to flow into you and just dissipate harmlessly. The shadow is not smart in particular, so it'll probably assume it's somehow missed. Which means it tries it again, does 5 points more of damage, and now I would say it is finally dawning on it that you are not really being harmed by its attack. So it tries to hide once more by jumping into your shadow. But it is so clumsy that I'm sure a lot of you see this. I'm going to reveal its roll. There we go. Of 14. So everyone who has a perception DC of 14 or higher is still able to observe the shadow as it's like sitting in Lucca's shadow, being pretty obvious to most of you.
It also needs to roll for the Bane.
And it needs to roll the will save for the Bane. Where is the Bane? It's up there somewhere. I know. There it is. Okay, but it succeeds at.
Okay.
Ottardo.
Can we make it against this thing or not?
Do you have to, was the question.
Well, we were starting a retreat.
We can't let them get through this door to the source of negative energy. So they have to go.
I mean, it's new to the world. It may not even know that the negative energy is there if we just back off. And it'll return to Ottardo in a few hours, right? So.
But
Do you know that? Does Lucca know that?
Lucca doesn't know that. It's Birke knows that.
And Birke has read that in a story, like a fairy tale, essentially. So.
Yeah, it wasn't really like a academic tome. It was a book of fiction.
Well, if
Folk
that's
stories.
the case, Ottardo will raise his shield and walk back in an orderly fashion and request that we just vacate the premises and come back when we are refreshed.
Okay.
I see Ottardo like badly injured. No shadow saying like, let's vacate these premises and come back when we're refreshed. This is totally not me running away. All right, Souma.
I will duly after Birke, so when she and Lucca vacate the premises, I will close the door and leave myself.
So you're gonna close the door?
I
Did you
want
say that?
to wait for Birke and Lucca to leave and then close the door.
Got it. So you're readying an action to close the door. Lucca.
Lucca sees the thing hiding from him easily. He's going to try to demoralize it. He's going to try to spook it.
All right.
As he just turns his mask down to it while it's like hunkering there in his shadow, and he says, "Boo." And he's gonna try to give it the frightened condition real quick.
I think that's against its will DC, is that right?
I believe so. That's a natural 1.
Well, it's not easily scared.
But he won't waste any additional time. He is going to back off here and continue just a little further. And I guess he will he'll expand the Bane one more time just in case.
Okay. And then it's Birke's turn.
Can I see it from where I'm standing? No, right?
Yeah, you can lean and you should be able to see it.
Okay. So Can I
It is.
attack it?
Yeah, it is within range. Yeah.
Cool. Because that's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
Swing at the laughing, crouching creature. Ah, and I miss. Attack one more time and run.
Okay. One more for the road.
Yes,
And it's
worth it.
and 7 points, which means 2 of those come through. And then you make a dash for it. All right. In that moment, Soma,
Limping and leaving trails of blood.
yeah, and as Birke passes the door, Soma throws it shut. But of course, for the incorporeal shadow, that doesn't mean much, and the shadowy image of Ottardo just kind of steps through the door, and you see it enter the room, and it's like still seems clumsy. Its movements are no way near as graceful and flowing as the ones of the other shadow. And as it moves into the room, it is getting ready to try to strike Soma or Birke. You can't quite tell, but then all of a sudden you see that it's almost like whipping around, and it's just staring at that pillar of light in the center of the room, and it's tilting its head back and forth as if it's almost mesmerized by the pulsating negative energy in the center of the room, and it's gonna waste an action on being so distracted by that. Ottardo.
Ottardo is going to raise his shield again and keep walking away.
Okay.
He is walking into the darkness. He doesn't really see where he's going.
Ottardo is over this.
Yes. Half speed at that point. Okay. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay. Soma?
Okay, well, let's try to first inspire courage, then we try to stab it in the back. And then we run away.
Okay. Lucca.
I think this thing technically needs to make another save against Bane. I think as long as it's in the aura when it's enemies in the area must succeed a will save or take a -1 penalty as long as they are in the area. It's when he expands it. Enemies in the area that weren't affected yet to attempt another save. Okay, so he has to spend the action to expand it to try and continue the Bane. I'm gonna look up condition really quick. I mean, he's gonna try and keep this thing's attention while his allies get out of here, especially because he knows what's coming next. So he's going to step over here, get right in between the thing and the aura, or the negative energy, and he is going to cast Chill Touch again. Really, really hoping for a critical failure.
All right, let's see. Roll success.
God, these things just keep passing. Okay, well, that's his turn.
All right.
Go, Birke! I have nothing to fear from this creature.
Yeah, but we can't really let it get to the negative energy now, can we?
I mean, it'll just be healed, but can be long gone from this place.
I'm still gonna attack it.
Okay, that also works.
All right. That's 3 more points of damage.
Okay, it's badly injured. I can do one more and limp my way to the door because screw this stupid
Yes!
creature.
Yes!
Unless there's anything on incorporeal.
Really?
Ugh,
Right.
You
Incorporeal.
rolled a 1.
I'm the worst at rolling. I'm cursed.
So they're immune to precision, but I guess not to crits.
And then I leg it. Oh, the moment you step out, the weird, eerie heartbeat stops.
Mm-hmm. All right, that was
Oh.
my turn, and then it's the Shadow's turn, and yeah, kind of similar to Lucca when he first was almost mesmerized by the band of light. The Shadow just kind of floats forward, and it just floats right through Lucca until it finds itself inside that pale blue band of light, and you can see the energy wash through it, mix with that shadowy texture, and you see bits and pieces of the shadow form return to it as it heals a bunch of damage. Oh! It heals 3 points of damage to start out with. But it just kind of, it seems to have no intention to leave this anytime soon. Ottardo.
Ottardo will keep marching away since he sees Birke has rejoined. So that'll be 2 moves at half speed. He doesn't even remember exactly where he is. And last action, he'll raise his shield.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, we can take a quick break here because I'm going to have to check on something. And we'll be right.
How is everyone?
Not too bad.
Crazy weather all over the world.
Yeah.
How's it in Florida? Is it like super hot?
It's hot. It's humid. Kind of in the peak of it right now, so just kind of hiding inside for July and August mostly.
I mean, Florida's hot in winter, so yeah.
All right. Okay. So Ottardo just kind of keeps on walking. And Souma. Karnas, you still here? I guess everybody stepped away for a minute. That's okay.
How's the weather in Vermont?
Well, after the 1,000-year flood, it's fine now.
Did you see they're making Gloomhaven RPG? Speaking of you being a fan of the board game version,
You mean like a campaign setting?
they're like making their whole system.
Huh.
They got like a Kickstarter thing going on. So they want to do what they did for Gloomhaven, but for RPGs or something, they're saying. And you can kind of mix some of the like maps and minis and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Gloomhaven. I'm not. I don't love it. I like some of its mechanic, but I'm not a fan of any of the flavor and any of the lore. And I feel like it's also just brutally difficult. It's like I feel like it's for people who like Dark Souls and those kinds of things.
Oh,
Because you have
yeah.
have to do the missions over and over again. You're gonna fail and fail and fail until you figure it out. And that's a kind of playstyle that I don't particularly enjoy most of the time. So I wonder how they're going to translate that to an RPG where you don't want to have a disposable, where you can't just easily reset and try again and try again.
Maybe you go through characters like a meat grinder.
Yeah.
Or maybe characters don't die the first time they're defeated.
Uphold
Yeah.
one of Cephalofair's core mission statements to minimize randomness and reward player savvy.
Are we back?
Yes, we are. Is Karnus back?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, cool. All right, so Soma's turn.
Oh, 1 second. Well, I think for this time I will not renew Inspire Courage, and instead I will. Soma will make another whirl with her flute and use another telekinetic projectile on the ship.
Okay. So you hit it. What's the damage you do with that? Yeah, I don't think. Does that damage actually have the magic traits here?
Well, technically it is a spell attack, so I guess it should be.
Okay, let's see what the automation thinks about that. Yeah, thinks no damage. But either way, it would be no damage because 5. It has resistance 5 anyway. It may even be doubled, but it definitely has 5.
Yeah, and then we can continue run away.
Okay, Lucca.
Yeah, seeing that all of this seems to be for naught at this point, he's just gonna walk away. Tempting to try and chill touch it one more time, but they just keep passing, so he'll come over here, he'll close the door, and he'll say, hopefully that keeps him busy for some time. We should continue our retreat. And gonna keep his aura with him, and he's gonna keep on moving just to speed things along.
All right. And as you move out here, and the rest of you, we can go out of initiative because it's going to take the shadow a couple of turns to finish its negative energy shower in peace. And that's enough time for you, because the way I'm reading this is your intent of just leaving this place, getting out of here, and kind of riding this out for a couple of hours. Is that about right?
Yeah,
Okay.
things have not been going well.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, or in this case, defeat a shadow.
All right. Indeed, there is. I'm going to move you back to the entrance hall here, just because I'd be okay if we just want to fast forward, or is there any pressing business in town that people want to take care of?
No, we can.
Nothing in particular, yeah.
Okay.
To be clear,
Then
we're not spending the night, right? We're just taking a couple hours until the shadow comes back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can definitely do that. So you don't even have to go back to town. You can just go to the surface where the natural light, gives you a sense of security and safety. And you maybe you go to that little boathouse, that ruined boathouse, and the remnants of the campsite there to rest and wait it out until finally, indeed, Birke is no longer enfeebled, and neither is Ottardo. And as the enfeeblement stops, your shadow returns. You can see it clearly in the afternoon sun, and you feel a great sense of relief, knowing that that has no lasting effect, apparently. All right, so that's 80 XP for everyone. First of all, so make sure you put that on your sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any 10 minutes activities that people have been doing during those couple of hours? So it's 3 hours that you had to wait.
Yeah. I think Ottardo would have used that to first fix his shield and then repeatedly lay on hands for anyone that needs healing.
Mm-hmm.
Me, a lot.
I think if it's like a few hours, that should be more than enough to do all of that.
So you said you have infinite healing when you have time?
Yeah, because it's lay on hands, you just refocus and gain it back.
Well, refocus takes 10
Oh, okay.
minutes.
So every time, 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes you can use a certain number of times, essentially.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'm back to full health.
Yeah, I think we can assume that you're all back to full health in that case.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, and then once that is taken care of, you descend back into the lower level. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to put you back into this abandoned guard post here, and you can decide once again which way you want to go.
Well, there's still one door missing, no?
There's still so.
There are plenty of corners and
There are,
corridors.
yes, many doors.
Can I use scout to see if there's kind of like a path or like a way that's been disturbed, something that gives us a clue of like
That
the
wouldn't
right
be
direction?
scouting, that would be searching for like signs of recent passage.
Mhm.
So I mean, now yeah, you could certainly do that. Yeah, you want to do that in this room right here, or where you just want to do that as you move through the
As we
call.
move through.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that you're searching.
Mhm. Paying
So
close attention.
so roll 5 secret perception checks for me, and I can use them when and if I need them.
Okay. How many did you say? 4?
Yeah, let's start with 4.
All right.
Okay, all right. So where do you guys want to go?
Ottardo will suggest that we maybe go back and check that sarcophagus. Maybe if it sprouted an undead creature, maybe something was left there.
Yes, I agree.
And if everyone is okay with that, he will take the lead in the defend activity.
And Lucca will detect magic.
You move through this corridor here. And we're losing Birka. Are you still with us here?
Yeah. Sorry, I went to get something to drink.
Ah, okay. I've been moving Birka along here, so you might have to scroll to see where she is. And all right. And as you move through here, stop, please. Yeah, as you move through here, Birka, you notice this a little back here. Bring up a little bit. Oh, also, Birka doesn't have any light anymore. Is that correct, or is that just from the duration of?
No, I don't know where that is.
Yeah, so we want.
I don't think you scrolled the time, so it can't be from duration.
I did fast forward a couple of hours, so it's probably the duration. So if whoever cast light could do that again, so that
Or we can see.
Light again on her.
okay, so there we are. And as you move, as you turn that corner here, Birke, you notice a disturbance of in the like the little rivulets that run down the walls because of all the moisture, and there's like it's collecting in what looks like almost the outline of or like a little gap between the stones that could be a door line at this weird dead end down here.
I move in to inspect it, running my hands through it.
Okay, and your hands catch onto something, and you are able to open this secret door that was quite well hidden. And you open it as you feel around on the wall by pushing two stones at the same time, and then the door swings open, and it reveals a kind of disappointing plain and circular room that's just empty. There's a single image of a moss-caked skull that adorns the eastern wall, but other than that, it's just empty.
I inspect the skull.
Well, the skull it's not a skull, it's just an image of a skull, and it has been rendered in a way that the artist has added moss to the skull, and I believe that it has chains in between its jaws. Let me double check on that. No, it's actually it's biting down on a chunk of moss as well, and there's like little beads of water that have been added to the image.
Can I take the skull?
It is not a skull. It is an image of a skull.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, that has been painted onto the wall.
It's got the moss coming out.
Could it be
Alas for Yorick.
Could it be like a religious image?
It could be. I guess Souma should have let you roll a recall knowledge automatically, but you can definitely do that now, and also Ottardo if you want to roll recall knowledge. Okay, Ottardo, it could be religious. It could have some religious significance, but none that you're aware of. Neither Birke, neither.
No idea.
Permit me to have a glance here.
Well, I mean, Souma has a hunch, but you almost push it. You almost don't want to know this, because if this really does have religious meaning, then whoever put this here is a truly, truly lost soul, because this is and Lucca knows this too. This is the image of Nimbaloth. Let me show you. Nimbaloth. The goddess, an outer goddess of despair, ghosts, and swamps. It's a very obscure goddess that it's very coincidental that you've heard of her at all. And she's known to hunt those who would prey upon souls on the way to the afterlife. It's a strange goddess to revere, because souls consumed by Nimbaloth are gone for good. There is no afterlife for them. There's nothing but the agony of death and oblivion. There's very little you know about the specifics. It's just this sort of like boogeyman goddess that you've heard about at some point, but there's very little you know about any organized worship of her.
But but we can at least assume that whoever might worship him is very nihilistic person. Maybe even
Yes.
worse than worshippers of Norgorber.
Yeah, for sure, because Norgorgor at least is trying to affect the order of the world and is trying to bring about change, even though through terrible means. But Nimbeloth is nothing but oblivion and nothingness, essentially.
Well, yeah, Burke, you might want to keep your hands away from that thing, just in case.
Devotee of Nimbeloth in a hidden room here. What? He's gonna. Lucca's gonna step in and he's just gonna detect magic around. Just make sure he's not missing anything.
Kind of to your surprise, you don't sense any magic. Nope, that's not right. Sorry. There is a sort of magical sensation that you're getting, yeah.
And read aura. He'll try to look around the room for a magical object, if there's such a thing.
Yeah, and as you try to read the aura, at first you're wondering if you cast the spell wrong before you realize that it's actually the entire room that has this kind of lingering magical aura.
Okay. Can he determine the school?
Until
Until such time as they eliminate schools of magic.
I was going to say, like, do we still have those? Yes. What would that be? It's not stated which school it is, so I think it would be closest to transmutation, probably. Or let me double check something here. I think
Sure.
I should be able to find a spell that has a similar. Yep, transmutation.
There is magic in this place. I cannot. Well, is there some sort of check I can do to try to decipher it any further, or?
Well, what does read our aura tell you? Can you cast?
Tells me. Yeah, let me cast it for her.
Yeah. Focus on a target object, opening blah blah blah. You know whether that item is magical, and if it is, you learn the school of magic. Yeah, okay, so you've already learned that.
Can I? Is there anything else I can do? Like, can I look for any sort of magical inscriptions or anything like that? An Arcana check or something?
Yeah, why don't you do an Arcana check? That sounds good.
Yeah. Not amazing, but we'll see.
Okay, and add a perception check to that for good measure.
Okay.
All right, yeah, all right. So, the fact that you're putting all of these bits and pieces together here, and you see that first of all, at the edge of the room, the floor actually doesn't entirely connect with the walls. There's a very fine gap that runs all around the outer perimeter, and there's like all sorts of junk and gunk that has collected there over the years. But as you notice that there's actually no connection between the floor and the wall. The fact that the whole room is magic tells you something, and the fact that it's transmutation magic makes you think that maybe this is actually some kind of magical elevator.
Yeah, that was just starting to dawn on me. Yeah, Lucca looks to the others and he says, I believe that this chamber may serve as another way. He looks up. How high is the ceiling in here?
Not very high, maybe like 10 feet.
Down. I believe this may serve as a way down, a sort of magical floating platform which can descend. Likely there is a shaft which extends on beneath this.
Where do you think it leads?
I cannot even begin to fathom.
Well,
And
should we follow it?
in all honesty, I am rather concerned about the the scale of what we are facing, and I do believe there are a good number of doors we have left closed on this level.
There's so many doors, I don't think we'll ever finish with the doors. We're gonna pick a way and continue through it.
Uh, he kind of looks at Birke, and he's you can see it, like he looks at this skull on the wall again, and he definitely seems unsettled by all of this. Are you sure that of all of the ways to try, this is the one that you want to go?
Why are you so afraid of a bit of a mossy skull on the wall? Can't be worse than the kind of things we've been already encountering.
I mean, if it was a skull of Urgatoa, that would be one thing, but this is not even a god of undeath or death or anything in between, but non-existence. It's
Birke,
disconcerting, to say the least.
Birke, we have been delving into this some godforsaken fortress for days now, and every time we delve deeper, we find something worse. I mean, you really should think before you say something.
That
like
is
this.
true, and we've been on the doorsteps of death more than one time. But I would not want to cross it, only to find out there's nothing there, or might have my existence obliterated. So I'll take your advice. Let's go back.
We shan't forget this place, I assure you, although perhaps we should close the door on it for the time being, lest some other ill-fated adventurer find their way in here.
All right, let's shut it down.
We don't even know how to activate it, in all honesty. And that is not an invitation for you to touch the skull.
Hands off the skull. Got it. Wait, before we go in here...
What?
There's going to be a angry ghost roaming about here, no?
Yeah. Actually, before we leave this thing, Souma will come to this to the room and will procure a piece of chalk from my adventurer pack.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the wall above the skull. Do not touch, cursed. With exclamation mark.
Got it. Helpful note.
That'll do it.
Yep, that should take care of it.
Yeah. And
Birke said something about the ghost?
Yeah, that there should be a ghost there.
Which ghost?
A shadow, sorry. Or did the shadow dissipate?
this shadow was with us all this time now.
Okay.
It has returned to Ottardo, and once again is a slave to his every movement and gesture, just as it should be.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't say slave.
Bound in eternity and perpetuity, to follow him even into the grave, where it will be forced to remain motionless for all of its unexistence in the dark, which it actually prefers.
As you ponder the moral implications of being the supreme leader of your own shadow, you walk down this hallway and double check here. Yeah, I believe so. From this side, you can clearly see the door at the end of this hallway. But you can tell by the fact that it's not just another wooden door, but a chunk of wall. That from the other side, it's most likely another secret door. Oh, and I should also mention that the alcoves here and here also hold sarcophagi that have an unfinished lid.
Oh, yes, speaking of sarcophagi, were we going to have a look at the... Yeah.
Okay, so you want to open all of the sarcophagi?
Well,
I think we were planning on focusing first on the one that had the shadow.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you finish what Birke had started, and you muscle open the lid, which comes apart from the rest of the sarcophagus, and inside there are the skeletal remains of a humanoid creature, kind of fitting or aligning with what you saw on the lid and the shape that the shadow had adopted. But of course, it's just a skeleton now, or I shouldn't say just in the presence of Lucca, but it doesn't have any discernible features really that would identify an individual anymore. There is no particular equipment that has been interred with this creature. Its vestments have rotted away a long time ago.
Just realized that when I put my lantern in my hand, it actually turns a light on.
Oh,
How
that's
fun is that?
awesome.
Right.
Oh, by the way, can I pick up my torch while we're back here?
Sure, yeah, you can pick that back up.
Well,
Well, what do you make of this?
Well, it doesn't try to kill us anymore, so we can be grateful for that at least.
is there anything of interest in there besides the remains?
Not to my knowledge. We can. Soma will try to squint at the sarcophagus. Then she will take her dagger and try to poke the sarcophagus in the bottom to see if maybe it has some sort of false.
Maybe you can give me a blind perception check as you give this a more thorough search.
Lucca will also detect.
All of these sarcophagi ready to inter probably dearly departed, but only one actually was used, it seems. So that makes you think, like, why weren't the other 5 occupied at some point?
Yeah, I'll focus my attention on that one. See if I can pry the something open.
Which one?
The one that, the one that is different from the other ones.
But you just already searched
yeah.
that all through, and Soma also checked it twice, or checked it again, so you're welcome to check it again, but
No,
everybody's
there's nothing.
satisfied.
Can we open one or two of the ones that appear to be empty?
Yep, you can. I mean, it's just as hard to pry them open, but they are indeed entirely empty.
Are there any signs that they've been used at some point in the past, or do they look like they're kind of
Yeah, they look
fresh, so to
they look
speak?
Well, not fresh because they are definitely old, but they look like
Right.
they've never been used.
Okay. So it's not as if someone was once in here and got up and left it.
No.
Then walk off.
Right. That can happen sometimes.
Yeah, there's like the one where you found the remains still had the stench of death, of course, and the stench of decay in there. When you open the other ones, nothing comes out there. Just a little bit of stale air, but nothing that would make you think that it was occupied at that point.
I wonder if there was a plan to inter others here, but it was never fulfilled.
Shall we press on?
Indeed.
Okay, so you open that secret door and step out into a larger room that was originally a kitchen, most likely, but the furnishings have been rebuilt and repositioned to create an improvised shrine. The western end of the hall, where a large fireplace for cooking food once stood, now serves as an altar of sorts. And looming over a human corpse is a towering statue in a feminine shape made of bones, covered in sheets of moldering cloth and hanging moss. A bare spot on the room's north wall has been decorated with mud and blood to depict the same feminine form as the statue, and it is that part of the wall that has swung open when you opened the secret door. So that section, that secret door from this side, was crudely decorated with mud and blood to show the same feminine form that you see depicted as a statue here. There's a couple of doors, I think you can see them all, that lead out of this place.
Well, how fresh does the body look?
So it is not very old. It's just a couple of days, and you can, as you inspect the body, you can roll a society check.
Yeah, Souma will be interested to see if this is one of the guys that she was told to find. But probably not. Maybe.
I mean, it would check out in terms of the state of decay. The timeline would fit, but you don't know the guy, and it's so you don't know him personally, so you don't really have an idea how to ID him. So you don't know.
Yeah.
But
Souma
we know their distinctive sign.
Which is?
I think it was an osprey, a little
All
bird or something.
So you check the body for a bird tattoo, and indeed, it has a bird tattoo on his right shoulder, which would mark him as a member of their organization. Great, good job.
We'll remember that.
Wow, what a heroic feat
To remember something?
to remember that detail.
I think it is.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Let's see. Yeah, Lucca really doesn't like. I mean, ordinarily I wouldn't have a problem with the bones and such, but the other sign, the symbol that we found before, putting me at unease. Does this look related to that one? I mean, that was a skull. This is a.
Yeah, give me that religion.
You said it's draped in like mud and stuff.
Well, there's the statue, which is feminine in shape, made of bones, covered in sheets of moldering cloth and hanging moss.
Okay, cloth and moss. Yeah.
And then a similar shape has been crudely smeared onto the secret door using mud and blood.
Oh, well, the other one had.
Yeah, you're welcome to roll that religion check here. All right. Well, there is certainly moss on that statue. And there's bones, there's a skull. So yeah, you do see some connections for sure.
Could it be that some sort of cult has taken up residence in the ruins here?
Well, for what purpose, though?
Does this moss look like fresh or dry? Like, does this look like it's been here a long time?
It looks like it has been here probably for a couple of days, maybe.
It's days, so this is recent. Okay, and
Yes,
that
definitely.
the symbol on the wall in the elevator, did that look like recent work or older work?
No, that looked like it was very old.
Lucca points that out and just sort of lets that settle in for a second. Not only are we looking at the activity of some recent cult, likely those Darrow or some other denizens of this place, but
Morlocks. They were Morlocks.
Morlocks, right? Not Darrow.
Don't later.
That's some colloquialism from a far off land. Morlocks, that symbol would indicate that they have been. Well, this place has been associated with that goddess for quite some time, and continues to be.
Does the body have any belongings still on him? On it?
No, the body itself doesn't, but it's been kind of like splayed in front or placed in front of the altar, almost like it's an offering, and strewn around the base of that statue, so around the body as well. There are a couple of valuable things, so I'm just gonna make this a lootable item. And you can find a couple of things that might be valuable, like a bloodstone. There is a softly glowing rune and a sickly green fear gem.
Interesting. What is a bloodstone? That's just a valuable?
Yeah. Just a piece of treasure. So you should be able to loot that if you want to take any of those items.
Should we just add the bloodstone to the party loot?
Yeah.
What about the weapon potency +1?
What is that? Is that a?
I think you
Magical
need.
enchantment.
Yeah, you need to either use the craft skill or go to an artisan to get it transferred to your weapon, but it is something that you would be able to get on your Gizarm eventually.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, if nobody wants it, I'll take it happily.
Yeah.
Who would benefit from the fear gem?
Well, anyone who strikes it, but since it is a talisman, it will.
Well, I mean, that would also come in handy when I'm trying to stab people.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember that it is a talisman, which means that it only is used once.
Right, it's a one-time use.
Alright, but paid for a boss fight.
Sure.
Or do what everyone does in RPGs and just collect all sorts of potions, elixirs, and items, and
Yep.
never ever use them.
Exactly.
Because you will never know when you need them.
Yep.
Ottardo will offer to affix that on your weapon, because that's how it works. You need to spend 10 minutes attaching it to the weapon.
I would very much appreciate that, Ottardo.
Nice. Yeah. So you use your repair kit.
Yep.
And affix it to the gazarm. Nice. So what does it look like? Is it just like dangling from the near the tip of the gazarm, or?
Tell me, Ottardo, what have you done to my cool weapon?
I'd guess it'd be more logical to have it not exactly at the hilt, but where you would be grabbing it so that you can, like, reach and activate it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes sense. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you pick through the items, the offerings here. There are a couple more bits and pieces, but none of them seem valuable to you. Whoever offered them may think differently, but those are the ones that seem valuable to you.
Dare we to see what lies behind this door? I think we can safely guess what is behind those others to the east.
If Birke is ready.
Yeah, I'm just putting it on my guitar. Potency rune +1. Yep.
Well, that's... You need to take that to a smith to do that.
Ah, okay. I thought that's what. Thought that's what Sam did.
No, Sam did affixing the talisman, the fear gem.
Oh, right. Okay, you're right.
Potency rune is a more involved project.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I will remedy that.
So Ottardo will try the door.
Yeah, it opens up after like giving it a thorough push because again, the moisture at this level makes everything just saturated. And if this was the kitchen that you were in before, then this must have been the pantry, but only a few fragments of the shelving still remain. They must have once lined the walls all around, but now they're just like shattered and rotting on the floor. And yep, there are 2 more doors.
And Ottardo is very curious as to where this one would lead.
Mm-hmm. So you open it up, give it a strong push, and there's just a staircase that leads down into the dark.
He will close that door back up.
Why do you think there's a secret door from the kitchen into a crypt which leads into that strange room with the the layout of this place is baffling to me.
It is quite odd.
It's like megalomaniacs building lairs in the wilderness are never really reasonable. Okay, yeah, so you open that door and you step into a hallway, and then right around the corner, you can barely see it because there's no light, but you see another door, which looks a little different than the other ones. Most notably, it has a pretty massive lock.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's right here. Do you see it?
Yeah. I just left some room for our expert locksmith.
Right.
Well, let's see what we can do about it.
So, Souma, sure. Let's see what you can do about it.
Lucca is very concerned about the next section up ahead. It looks similar to what he saw before when...
Yeah, and as Souma gets to work on that lock, which looks like it might take some time, and as a matter of fact, what is a critical failure you have? You break your tools. Fixing them requires using crafting to repair them, or else swapping in replacement picks. Yep, you just broke your tools, Souma.
Oh well. Yeah,
So that's not
the levers in this lock are too tight. Unfortunately, these hooks are way too bendy, and maybe the steel was hardened but not tempered, so it kind of snapped. Unfortunately. Oh well.
Right. And while Soma is giving all sorts of excuses in the back, Lucca, you take in the room in front of you, where it turns out to be kind of a small cave. At the north end, you see the mouth of a swampy, flooded cavern yawning. There's a few ruined rowboats that lie in heaps on the floor and strewn next to tangled coils of rope. Remnants of a pulley system hang from the ceiling, and there's a narrow tunnel that leaves the chamber to the south.
I caught a glimpse of natural-looking caverns like this and breaking through the walls of some of the other chambers further south. I think they may be interconnected, and if I dare to speculate a bit further, I suspect we may find that,
The slug creature.
yes, precisely, somewhere around here.
Yeah, it's possible. It probably crawled out of somewhere here to begin with.
Could have been out of that very swamp, or that water up there. He points north.
Which one of the slug creatures?
The flesh warp. Do you recall the thing
Oh.
that chased us?
Yes. Okay.
There's been so many horrors down here.
Souma, how intently do you wish to get through that lock?
Once I get new replacement hooks, I will be able to get right back to it.
Well, it does just so happen that while I was in town last, I did pick up a scroll of mending.
Well, will it work?
I don't know. I hope so.
You repair the target item, you restore 5 hit points per spell level, potentially removing the broken condition if this repairs it past the item's broken threshold. I mean, it doesn't actually state. Let's see. Pick locks. Critical failure. You break your tools, fixing them using crafting to repair them, or else swapping in replacement picks. Yeah, I would say that the mending basically replaces the repair. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Very well, then.
also Ottardo with his repair kit could spend 10 minutes to repair.
I was going to say if we just need to repair, then Ottardo can do it in 1 minute because he has a feat for that, and this way we save the scroll.
Oh, very good then.
Well, that's very nice. So, with your help, let's try this again then.
All right. So Ottardo quickly bends all of those little things back into a shape that you can actually use. And then let's see.
Let's see.
There's
Wow.
So Ottardo's like, oh no, that can be easily fixed. Like you just you expand it here. Now you do it again. And Soma goes and does the exact same mistake again. And you hear
the letters are too tight.
Are you sure you don't need my mending spell?
You just smash it.
Sure. If somebody wants to throw themselves against it, use your athletics.
I'll do it. I got it.
Okay.
Yes, go for it. Birke, smash this henceforth with, and in exchange, you were getting a +1 for my diabolic edict. Not that it's going to help much, but
Yeah. So Birke, you throw yourselves against it. It's like it gives way a little bit, but you feel like you got to try harder to actually make it.
Give it a go.
You're not getting it on the next one, unfortunately. I must now spend 10 minutes refocusing.
Yeah, I will use Inspire Competence on the smashing.
All right. So keep smashing, Birke.
Could Ottardo like assist in that?
Or like, Ottardo, do you want to give it a go? I loosened it for you.
Aid is a reaction. You try to help your ally with a task. You must first prepare to help. That's no problem. When you use your aid reaction, attempt a skill check or attack roll of a type decided by the GM. So in this case, athletics. Typical DC is 20. But the GM might adjust this DC for particularly hard or easy task. I think this is an average task to break this open. So yeah, DC 20 athletics and you aid.
Throw me against the door. Head first.
So Ottardo doesn't help. Soma gives you what? How does that work with Inspire Competence?
I use my performance check in place of the aid, in place of required skill to aid.
Oh.
So
Okay, nice. So you do aid,
yes,
and then
So
Birke.
basically, you tell me like a thick burn that pisses me off and makes me kick harder.
Sure. So let's do your athletics.
Lucca gives Birke a big thumbs up.
And it is the aid from Soma that is the difference that you need here. And you breach the door open and find what is a strange chamber. It is octagonal in shape, and the walls, somebody would put some light in there,
There we go.
and
Oh,
the
dear.
walls are adorned with swirling runes carved into this stone and then filled with dull silvery metal. The floor is polished, it's smooth, and the ceiling 10 feet above is the same way. And with that find, we're gonna drop the curtain for today.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dum, 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 dum.
What have
All
we
right.
walked